You're listening to WHPK 88.5 FM, Hyde Park, Chicago. We're waiting now for our good friend, Mr. Curtis Robertson, to give us a call. One of my favorite pieces by a great guitar stylist whom I love so much and met him several years ago when I was a broadcaster or a DJ at great jazz station here in the city of Chicago, and I ran upon this fantastic guitarist. I said, "Man, who is this cat?" And he introduced himself as the Dr. Curtis Robinson. Good afternoon, Dr. Robinson.
Yes, it is. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm peaceful, man.
Yeah, and what are you doing with all the cold weather you're bringing on us?
Not me. I would never do that to Chicago. That's why I'm not there right now.
Listen to you. Shame. So how have you been, sir?
Saying that.
So have you?
But I don't feel guilty by not being there.
Okay, so what are you doing nowadays?
Well, I'm out in Vegas for a while, which used to be called the musical capital of the world. Not. Let me repeat that. Not. And being here, I had a revelation, and when the universe gave me this idea, tribute to Dancing in the Streets, a tribute to the musicians and music of Motown, which I had been doing, but wasn't even, I don't think I was paying close enough attention to what I was doing, and not listening to the audience in terms of their response every time we did it. But when we played that material, but we did it with a mindset of playing as jazz musicians, man, we hit all cylinders. It felt good to the people. They recognized the material. And it was like a winner. But we weren't paying attention. At least I wasn't paying close enough attention. But when that idea hit me once we got out here, which allowed me to slow down quite a bit and really look at some things and make some assessments, life assessments, then the idea just started pouring in, and I just began putting the arrangements together. So that's what this Kickstarter program is about. Or should I say the Kickstarter launch, to do this tribute to the Funk Brothers, which were some of Detroit's greatest jazz and blues musicians that we never knew about. Their names were never put on albums.
Mm-hmm.
And these were great artists that were brought in, and I understand why that was done. That's so that it can maintain that Motown sound, and they didn't want people to know who those guys were. But they never got credit, and the music always felt just excellent. But unfortunately, we never gave enough attention to the instrumentalists playing it. We focused on what I like to call the icing on the cake. Who did Papa Was a Rolling Stone? Oh, that was the Temptations. We focused on the Temps or Smokey. And they were singing beautifully. But no matter how beautifully they sang, it could not have been done, and it would not have felt that good were it not for the Funk Brothers. And as any musician would tell you, if your tracks, meaning the music, the rhythm tracks, are not in order, it doesn't matter what you put on top. It will not have that flavor. It will not have that feeling. I saw people, man, that couldn't dance get on the dance floor when they heard Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
Mm-hmm.
And they just stood there wiggling. And I get that, because the music felt that good. So I decided, why not do this and bring attention to those men, as well as not reintroduce, but bring the music that we love called jazz to the masses again. And that's another challenge, because not many people are left who grew up with Out of Nowhere or How High the Moon. So that music has very little relevance to people in their 20s and 30s. Unless they are actual students of this music, then they will seek it out.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, going back some years now with you, it seemed like you have this affinity with the history of such as you're bringing up. From my meeting you, going back to maybe 1999 or the year 2000, you gave me a great recording entitled "A Tribute to the Messengers," and you're sort of I guess you were doing the same thing that you're talking about doing now again, but in a different vein, or what? You were talking about Pent Up House, Cheryl's, Red's Groove, Mysterioso. You were talking about the Monks. You were talking about the Kenny Dorham, Sonny Rollins. You're talking about the Dizzy Gillespie, and the various songs that you have put in this particular recording. And it sort of reminded me of what you're talking about now.
Well, the people who know that music that you just mentioned, are older, and that's a good thing. We either get older or we're dead. So we all going to pick getting older. They're older. They don't go out as much. I get that. But to people who are just everyday, let me share it this way. I had many people come up to me and say, man, I don't quite understand jazz. I don't really like jazz, but I like the jazz you play. Now, being the psychiatrist that most musicians become after doing this for a while in terms of understanding where people are coming from, reading between the lines, what they meant was, I don't recognize the songs. So I'm not going to give it my attention to see if I'm going to like it. But when you give people material that they recognize, they are far more receptive to listening further. And now you bring them in. Now I can introduce you to Stardust. I can introduce you to Body and Soul simply because I have your attention. You cannot bring anything to anyone, teach anyone, share anything if you don't first get their attention. And that's what's important. Charlie Parker, Dears, the men and women you mentioned, played the popular music of their era. And then eventually those songs became jazz standards. But a lot of them were show tunes with corny chord changes. But the jazz cats took them, rearranged them, reharmonized them. Bam, here you go. Now they're jazz standards. But that era is gone. And people don't recognize that material unless you're a diehard jazz fan. And I will always play jazz standards. But in order for this music to thrive, in order for me to continue playing music to make a living, if I want to play what we call jazz, I have to make it relevant to people who are here today.
So
if they hear me playing something by Michael Jackson, like one of the arrangements we have, and some of your listening audience have heard us play this song out in clubs, Billie Jean, they recognize that and they love it.
Mm-hmm. So when are we expected to? When is it arrival? When is it due arrival?
We have 9 days remaining to reach our financial goal that we set on Kickstarter. Once we're able to reach that funding goal, then sometime in May, early May, I'll be coming back to Chicago, recording the material with Mike Logan, Charles Heath, and Joshua Ramos. And then we're looking at possibly June or July for release.
Wonderful. We're talking to a great guitar stylist, Mr. Curtis Robinson, who happens to be in some beautiful weather out in Las Vegas, and took a moment of his very busy time to give us a call and let us know how he's doing and what his plans are. So in a real quick moment, sum everything up with Curtis Robinson.
My personal view of life, this gift I've been given, we've all been given. The universe brings nothing but excellence. So if I accept anything other than my very best to present and share with the world, then I'm not moving in accordance with the universe or God or whatever word people choose to use to identify whatever they identify with. And if I don't do that, then I'm doing a disservice to me.
Thank you very much, Curtis. I appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you when you come back here. Maybe it'll be warm by the time you get back here. Okay?
Well, I don't see why not. I have not seen snow in June anywhere.
I hear you. All right. Thanks very much for calling in and letting us know what's happening. Appreciate you very much.
Brother. And if you don't mind reminding your listeners, they can go to Kickstarter.com, Curtis Robinson.
Wait, let's do it. All right, hold up now. Kickstarter.com.
Kickstarter.com.
Okay.
Curtis Robinson.
Okay.
And all they have to do is click on Dancing in the Street, a tribute to the musicians and music of Motown. And they can make as large a pledge as they choose.
Sounds like a winner. Thanks very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Curtis.
All right, Brother Al, thank you.
You're certainly welcome. Have a good one here. Peace.
You too. Stay warm, man.
Sure. Thank you. Talking to Curtis Robinson, who will be back with us soon with this Kickstarter.com. Curtis Robinson. That's where you want to do, and click on Dancing in the Street. You're listening to WHPK 88.5 FM, and we're saying good afternoon to Marty over at the Second Chance Thrift. Here's